Hello and welcome. I have had a few people reach out to me asking if I can go over some of my gameplay while I'm playing and explain some of the thoughts going through my head, how I handle certain situations for their own high round attempts. So hopefully this is the video you came across, and if you were wanting to learn, then you came to the right place. I wouldn't say I'm a zombie pro, but I would definitely say I've put in my work. I've been playing since the World at War days and haven't had too much of a break, other than I skipped over the second half of Black Ops 4, skipped over Vanguard. Cold War was the last game before this one I really played. But first thing I try and remember when I get into this lobby is I'm either going to get the 1 in 6 chance of it's going to be a special round, or I'm going to get an elite round. That's always going to happen anytime you jump back into a save file after 13. Obviously we're well past round 13, so I know for a fact I'm going to get at minimum one heavy zombie. The maximum that will ever spawn in any given elite enemy round is going to be 2, so you don't ever have to worry about the higher in the rounds you climb, you're going to start seeing 4, 5, 6, anything like that. It's always going to be 1, maybe 2. Most of the time I even still just see 1 come through. But there's going to be a few ways to handle that when he does come by. All the strategies are pretty effective. What you're going to see pretty much every single round you play in these higher rounds is they're going to make their way up this staircase. You'll be fine as long as you keep this door here shut. They can't come behind you, they can only come up this staircase, with the exception of the bugs will occasionally fly up to the top. But you just gotta take them out as quick as you can, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's not that they do much damage anyways, you can kind of avoid their shots like that. One thing I wanted to mention is when they are coming up the stairway here, a lot of the times you don't even want to shoot them directly. The wunderwaffe is somewhat buggy, so if you shoot it directly at them, a lot of the times it slips right over their head or goes behind them. What you want to really do to hit as high of a percentage of shots as you can, shoot that wall right there, and the splash damage will take care of it. One thing that can screw you over if you have the correct augments on for getting your ammo back, the full Vulture's Aid, and I can't remember what the other one is, but one of them gives you critical kills and then one of them gives you extra ammo per critical kill. Well, let's go ahead and take care of this guy. So I see some Casimirs on the ground. The easiest way to take care of one of these guys, switch over to a raygun Mark II, throw a Casimir, get up close and personal, headshot him. Even got some time to go turn this trap on, pick up a little bit of salvage, grab me another one, then we'll go back up to the top. Nice and safe, very easy. A lot easier than the other maps to get rid of the elites. Could never do that fast and that easy with an abomination. Same thing with an amalgam. As long as you take care of them quick, they won't overrun you. And honestly, you don't even really have to take care of them that quick. A lot of times, part of the strategy that I do, if they come out of especially this window here, but if they start advancing towards me, you can kind of deadlock them right here in this little stairway area at the base. And if you just shoot it once every 3 seconds or so, he'll stay exactly where he's at and won't be able to move. It'll actually block off some of the stairways so they can't come up there. So make sure you're running the Vulture's Aid augment, and I'm pretty sure it's depth perception. It could be Deadshot. You know what? It is Deadshot Daiquiri actually. Deadshot Daiquiri gives you the augment that has, anytime you get a critical kill, it refills 1 to your magazine. And then Vulture's Aid gives you the ability to get the random critical kills. So as long as you have those, you'll consistently get ammo. One thing that can mess you up, as I was going to mention earlier with those augments, is if you shoot too fast, the zombies aren't going to have time to chain and give you those extra ammo like you need it, so you'll get stuck in a reloading cycle. which there is a way to help with that so you still can conserve ammo and not have to run through that, which I'm sure we'll definitely get to pretty soon here. As long as you just keep a consistent flow right here, take care of the bugs, don't let them come up the stairway, it's pretty fine. At this point in the game, we're about 50 hours in, so it's really one of those things where once you get the pattern down, it just kind of becomes instinct at that point. I've taken one down to some stupid bullshit. Other than that, we've been running pretty good. My main concern is that the game will crash. I've lost a few save files in the 300s or so. This is my highest round game so far, but it's definitely not my first high round attempt, and not the first time I lost a high round attempt. Oh, so as you can see here with the reloading, if you run out of ammo, hold a Molotov. I don't know if you've seen the high round terminus strategy, but it's pretty much an easier, simpler version of that. You can hold a Molotov, it'll hold off just long enough for you to get some extra ammo with the kills that you got from the previous shots. Look at that, we're already back up to max ammo again. Occasionally you will be forced to reload, you know, what the amount of times you have to do this, you just get unlucky sometimes, you know, kills won't turn to the critical kills. As you see, you typically get a critical kill every 5 to 10 eliminations, somewhere in there. But as you can see right there, zombie elimination times 24. That's just been super unlucky. And then two critical kills. So I think we're deep enough into the round to where, like I said, it was a elite round, but we're only going to get the one elite there. There is a small chance that another one's going to come through, but I think we're far enough into this round to where we're not going to have to worry about that. Currently my rounds are taking about 10 minutes per round, so we should be right here towards the end of the round if we're at 9 minutes 43 seconds. When you start multiplying that across a bunch of rounds, it really adds up. You know, to play for almost 2 hours and only pass through 10 rounds. It's a pretty tiring task, if I do say so. A tip to mention, if the bugs slip past you, the easiest way to do it is wait until there's a break with the zombies, because you will waste wunderwaffe ammo. They're hard to hit if they get stuck up here. It's pretty difficult to hit them. If you flip over to that raygun Mark II, you can blast them down pretty easily. It's a lot easier, and you don't waste any wunderwaffe ammo. Another good way to take out the disciples, there's kind of a swap strategy. If you can get them just in your view, you can keep them right there, especially if you can get an insta-kill towards the beginning of the round. Hit that ether shroud, grab the insta-kill, and make it real easy on you. But otherwise, if you don't have an insta-kill or anything like that, you can deadlock them in, and then you can flip over, hit them with the ray gun real quick, keep deadlocking them, flip over, ray gun again, and the ray gun will do a lot more damage more quickly. At a certain point, your Casimirs, I don't even consider those a weapon that is really for getting kills, because it actually ends up slowing down the gameplay. As they get sucked in, they move slower than if they did not get sucked in. But I do like to use them to grab loot and at the beginning of the rounds, and to turn on this trap, because, you know, if you turn on the trap, it does actually help them kill a little bit faster. But typically I use the Casimirs to help build my salvage. Right now I have 280,000. I have recently been informed that the cap is 460,000. So I'll switch over and do some of the mangler strategy once I hit closer to 460,000. Just so I'm not wasting salvage, and obviously I can't die in a mangler injection. I do try and save my salvage though for if I go down, I don't want to burn through my self-revives as fast. So I like to, you know, if I have 100,000, a couple hundred salvage, take the chance on using mutant injections before I buy a self-revive, hoping that one drops on the ground. But they're just such a 1 in a million thing. You know, I had my one down of this game and I couldn't find another self-revive after I used a little over 200,000 salvage. And funny enough, the next game that I spawned into, not even an hour later, I had 2 self-revives drop on the ground in 10 minutes. So it's just one of those things. You might as well, you know, have 460,000 salvage going into, you know, trying to get another self-revive rather than blowing through all your salvage, taking an accidental down, and then being forced to buy another self-revive. It's those little things, thinking about the long run to perfect your strategy. So I got a decent amount of loot here on the ground. Starting to kind of run out of ammo on my clip, so it's one of those things. I can go ahead, throw a Casimir, pick up another one, can reload. There's some ammo drops on the ground. Start this trap again, pick up the extra ammo drops. Just like that, we're back in business, got some extra salvage. The game didn't slow down too much. Occasionally a double gas comes through. I guess I can go ahead and show you the deadlocking method. I'm going to let him run just a little bit farther. And then, yeah, we're going to lock him in about right there. So if that was an elite enemy, we can just keep shooting him every few seconds, and nobody can really run by him. He takes up most of the room. And even though I'm killing him pretty slow, it actually ends up being a beneficial thing, as long as you just stay calm and don't panic about the extra enemies the disciple spawns in. Also, I did have one person ask what I look like, so I guess I will go ahead and just real quick. I'm probably the biggest zombies YouTuber you've seen before. I'm pretty fucking getting there at least, so that's something to talk about, you know. My best strategy that I can share thus far is, at least for myself, it is statistically proven that if I listen to some King Von while I'm playing, I actually play better. Something about my shots hit. Oh, I couldn't tell you. Like if I was playing Von, that guy wouldn't have been able to get up there. So as you can tell with the zombies, it's really just a pattern thing. I kind of alternate 2 different spots when I shoot. The most important spot right here, I always keep some zombies electrocuted right there. It keeps them from being able to run up. Of course, if they do run up, just hit the wall right there. Usually takes care of the business. And then whenever there's not much action going off, or everybody's locked in, damn, I can't hit shots. I like to shoot a shot over there. It kind of slows down the traffic to the left side as well. Once again, it's been a couple minutes since we've thrown a Casimir. We got a decent amount of loot down there, and I see one on the ground, so I'm going to throw that, instantly replace it, pick up my loot. I've thrown so many of these, I know exactly when they're going to end. Didn't get all the loot, and there's another Casimir. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw another one, get the rest of the loot. Don't really have to worry about it so much. Another good thing you can do is if somehow you start getting low on ammo, which it does happen occasionally, you just get, you know, some bad luck in a row. It's bound to happen in a 120-hour game to round 999, but when you eventually run out of ammo, just wait till a Casimir's on the ground. If you get to like half ammo, throw a Casimir, just run to the ammo box. There's one right outside that room in the library. You make money so fast, it's like I could stand by the ammo box just buying ammo instead of reloading, and I would still continue to make more money than I spend. It's pretty ridiculous. So anytime you get the chance, you feel like you need some more ammo, just throw a Casimir. You could theoretically use a ether shroud from this location, but getting back becomes a little tough because you don't have near as long an ether shroud. But if you do need to use an ether shroud, if you don't have a Casimir, or if there isn't an extra one on the ground and you want to save them, or whatever your reasoning may be, you may just have to use both of your ether shrouds as long as you're running the augment that allows you to run both of them. And then that'll give you enough time to get there to the ammo crate and back. I like to save my Casimirs also for whenever the trap bell goes off. As you just heard that right there, it means it's ready to go again. Throw it, pick up some more loot, hit that trap, buy some more. It's going to end. 3, 2, 1, and we're back in it. Coming up, probably about 2 more minutes till this round's gonna end. That's kind of how I track it. Every 10 minutes or so, the round's gonna change. We're at 18 right now. Something I really wish that Treyarch would fix, if somehow my little voice could get into their office, is I hate how the elimination count stops at 14,999. I'm really curious to see exactly where I'm at in this game. I'm a big data analytical person, and I like to keep track of things like that so I can understand in future games about how many kills it's going to take to get to round X, or how many kills it's going to take to get from, point A to point B. My Casimir strategy, I would say, is my mutant injection strategy, I would say, is pretty simple. I think it's what everybody does, but I like to just go down to the pack-a-punch room. Oh, am I gonna have to reload? Nope. Cool. Maybe. I like to go down to the pack-a-punch room, and I'll just stand over near the bench, and it doesn't really matter exactly where you stand. You're gonna kill zombies pretty fast, and you just buy them over and over again. Nothing new there between that and the other maps. I kind of wish the high round strategies of these games were a little bit more... they definitely give you a lot more to think about than the old high round strategies, such as some Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 maps. But the sitting and camping gameplay just... it isn't what I feel like it should be. Zombies is... you're always running. But they do have the good aspects here of all the augments. The zombies are a lot faster at the high rounds, which kind of prevents you from running. So, in the old games, if I needed to run somewhere during the high round, I still feel like I have access to the full map with only 24 zombies being able to spawn in at the map at a single time. But this game is either 40 or 50, and they're a lot faster. And although you can take more hits, once you've kind of hit that round 55 round cap, you kind of lose your free will ability to run around the map. Like, sure, you can use an ether shroud, or you can throw a Casimir, kind of distracts them that way, but I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a safe route of travel, because as soon as you run out, you're kind of fucked. After I finish, I've been thinking of future projects for the channel. After I finish this game to 999 here, I'll probably take a break and play a little bit of the new map that comes out here in a few days. I'll probably do that before I finish the 999, just because there's no possible way with the pure amount of hours that it takes that I'll be able to put in the gameplay to finish this before the map comes out. Which is unfortunate, because I started this a couple weeks ago. Maybe even 3 weeks ago, and it's still got quite a bit of ways to go. The actual halfway point of one of these runs, from my research, seems to point at 649 is the round to get to. just one of those things. But future projects, I was thinking, I have Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, World at War, Black Ops 3. Unfortunately, I don't have Cold War, Black Ops 4, or any of the other games. Of course, I got Black Ops 6, but I have all those on PC, so I can do custom maps. You know, if anybody has anything that they would like to watch, you know, I love playing all zombies, so anything's gonna make me happy. But future projects, I like to do Easter eggs. I'll probably end up doing a Easter egg coverage for every map at some point, so everybody can at least get the experience of each Easter egg in the year 2025. I know a lot of the Easter egg guides you look up for, especially some of the older games, are 10, 12 years ago, and since then we have found much better strategies to be able to, you know, get through some of these Easter eggs a lot easier. So watching a 2025 video may be your better direction to go for completing efficient Easter eggs. Of course, I'll play some custom zombies. If there's any maps that you would like to see played, just drop it in the comments and I'd be happy to play it, give it a try, show you around. If there's an Easter egg on it, I'll try to do that. If it requires multiple people, I got some other friends that like to play. Of course, if anybody would like to join in and play with me and my friends, we're always looking for a fourth, you know. Can always squeeze you in somewhere, or if they're not on, I'll just play with you. But any of those games we can definitely play together. World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2 are going to be games where you're going to have it on PC, since they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't play them with people on different consoles, crossplay. Oh, see, had to reload there. I didn't need the ether shroud, but whatever. You gotta be, no, about halfway through this round. If any of y'all are into speed runs, I have some videos on my channel, maybe a month or two ago, that are Mob of the Dead speedruns. I was practicing that one for a while. I got within 6 minutes of the world record, so not like a super crazy time, but I definitely got a pretty good strategy. So if you like watching speedruns, you're more than welcome to go watch that too. God, my shots are shit right now. I'm not gonna burn through another ether shroud. You do get ether shrouds back really fast, but I always like to keep 2 of them in the bank just in case, you know. That first ether shroud I called my first resort to danger, and then that second ether shroud I called my last resort to danger. I always like to make sure I have at least one, but I don't mind using one if something gets a little sticky or hairy. Got some more salvage down there, and I see another Casimir, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that. It's another good way to get plates. Reload, running over the Casimir will give you some extra ammo, as long as you have your augment on for picking up ammo via Vulture Aid. It does say on that augment that wonder weapons are excluded in creating this, so you can't just use an ether shroud and run down there and pick up ammo drops, because there won't be any. But if you do throw a Casimir, if you throw a grenade, if you throw, you know, any type of specialty or something like that, then you can run where you killed it, or where you threw it, and you can definitely get you some extra ammo that way. The drops are pretty statistically good. Just about every time you throw a Casimir, you're gonna at least get a mag back for this thing, so that's nice. It won't fill up in a half magazine, which is why you have to reload. If you run out, just keep funneling that Molotov or your grenade or whatever it is that you're holding. Reload that ammo. I'll keep funneling it until they get about halfway up the stairs. If they get halfway up the stairs and I still have 0 shots, I can just tell it's going to be an unlucky one. And I don't want to take the chance on pumping my Molotov again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the reload whenever that happens and back up a little bit. By the time I finish reloading, I'll be able to clear them out. And then we're going to do what I call walking them down, which is going to be, you're going to shoot the highest one. Here, I'll do a little example. You're going to shoot the highest one, you're going to shoot the medium one, then you're just going to keep walking it back down, and they're going to chain all the way back down, and you got them back to your little strong point right here where you don't want them to pass. If you could see that shot that I killed that guy, it never really works out well if you actually just try and shoot them directly. You got to do what I did to that guy, and you got to shoot just in front of him and hit the wall, and it's always going to make that splash damage a lot more effective. The chance of it hitting is going to be a lot higher, and it's definitely going to chain. And that's the end of the round. 28 minutes in, we're averaging just under 10 minutes a round. Of course, end of the round, I'm going to collect all my loot. Of course, I made so much money that I can never spend it buying ammo. So even if I'm just missing 1 shot, I don't give a shit. I'm buying ammo again. Especially since how when you spawn back into a game, special rounds, you're just going to sit right here in this corner. You don't even got to move your cursor. As long as you just sit right here. If one happens to slip by, pop him right there. But 99% of the action is going to be done from this spot. These rounds are an absolute godsend. Started at about 28.5 minutes. I'm not sure how long these are, but they are definitely much shorter than the 10-minute rounds that I'm used to. I have noticed, I'm not quite sure if this is a hardware issue or a Black Ops 6 issue, like the game can't handle it or my PC can't handle it, but I noticed after about round maybe 500-ish is when I noticed it, I'll start getting rounds that are super laggy, but I've experienced them enough to where the only times that I get super laggy rounds are if I play for about 15 rounds in a row or maybe 2 hours in a row. Somewhere in there is where I start getting these super laggy rounds. And it makes it impossible to reload. It makes it impossible to throw a Casimir. At that point, I just have to get to... I try and get to the nearest bug around if it's not too bad. And then I save and quit and restart. And as soon as I boot it back up, it's going to reset whatever's going on that's making it lag. But I have noticed that. So you'll see as I continue this gameplay, usually about the 3rd bug round per save file that I experience is about when it'll kick in and go into effect. Eventually, if you are doing a high round, you'll get to a comfortable point where if you're on PC, you don't even really have to play with 2 hands most of the time. You can just play with just your mouse, sit right here and just keep blasting that spot every time you see any movement. I do believe this is probably the easiest high round that there is to do. The Liberty Falls is a little harder just because with the jet gun you have to suck them to you, inevitably taking some damage. There's also the Manglers. Yeah, this has definitely got to be the easiest round 999, especially if you sit here in this strategy. Some people use the elevator strategy. You know, it's not a bad one. Some people go just across where the elevator is, kind of like where you throw the tomahawks for that Easter egg part. against the A or B poster, valve, whatever. Some people sit in that room. Some people do part of the Easter egg to the point. What was that, the end of the round? Oh, look at that. What was that? Started at 28.5 minutes. We're at 32 minutes. Math's normally pretty good. 3.5 minutes. That's not too bad right there. But yeah, some people also choose to do their high round strategy in the room where you have to build the raygun, you have to upgrade the raygun variant, and then you have to kill the zombies at the poster in the T-Rex room, and then that gives you access down there after you've done the little puzzle with the sconce. That's a decent spot, but I would definitely say if you're going to go for a high round strategy, this is the most effective and easy. The beginning setup's a little bit more annoying because since you can't open this door, there's a couple times like building the raygun Mark II or just in general travel getting around the map that you're gonna have to go the long way, and it is annoying. Look at that. That is the best spot for one of those elder disciples to come through. So I did notice the elder disciple spawns are kind of weird. Sometimes they'll come, in 3 rounds. Sometimes they'll come in 6 rounds. But regardless, every time I see one, especially if he gets right there, I'll just lock him into this spot, shoot every few seconds. You can switch between your raygun Mark II, but as long as you keep in that spot, it's really not going to matter what gun you kill him with. And now it's actually harder to kill the zombies because they keep running up. Before the disciple would block them, so it's actually easier, even though it's supposed to be a mechanic that makes the game harder. I believe they patched it. There is a spawn down there that the disciple can come through, and used to he would do this pulsing wave attack where I would take damage through the floor for him being underneath me, even though I couldn't kill him. In the past couple weeks, though, since I started this game, actually, I haven't had that happen to me. Even though plenty of times he has been under there, it won't happen. So I'm assuming they patched that mechanic, probably for the people running this strategy here, because that is a bit tedious and annoying. But even then, it wasn't that hard to get rid of the disciple. I just pop an ether shroud or throw one of these bad boys and then run down there and shoot them up real quick. Mutant injections, I hold on to one for safety and for convenience and not having to buy one when I go do my strategy, but honestly when they come through I don't even use them. Is that another one? That is another one. Worried about running out of time though. So we got plenty of Casimirs. We're going to throw another one on the ground, give ourselves plenty of time to take care of that guy. Okay, we're even going to throw another Casimir because I think I saw another one. I did. I'm going to do this right here. That trap is active, so that's not going to do anything for me. But anyways, yeah, I definitely leave the mutant injections on the ground because it actually makes the rounds a little bit more annoying. Because it starts spawning in special enemies because you cannot kill the parasites fast enough. Unless you purely focus them, but that's pretty annoying to do. But if you don't kill the parasites fast enough, they will turn into, they're not mimics. Are they? What the hell are they? Doppelgas. They'll turn into doppelgas, which, of course, are not that annoying to take care of, but the annoying part is if you got 3 or 4 of them that turn and you don't kill them right before you end your mutant injection, then you're going to get stuck with this situation where you're back to your wunderwaffe strategy, and you got 4 of those guys trying to run up at you, which, of course, you can take care of it. Just keep shooting them with the chain, deadlocking them on the stairs. So it's not the hardest thing to take care of, but in the grand scheme of things, I'd rather just not even deal with that because it happens just about every time. With depth perception perk here, I always keep my eye somewhat in this area because I always like to see when the bugs are going to fly through. Those are probably the most annoying thing of this strategy, is the bugs trying to get through. So whenever I do see one, I pop a shot just like I did there with that one that was about to run through. If I see flapping, I'm definitely going to take care of it. It's just one of those things. If one of them comes up here and you get pulled distracted trying to shoot one of these guys, you end up having to reload because you use your last couple shots trying to get just one target. You're not going to get the return of ammo just for that guy, so you can kind of get yourself in a bit of a sticky situation. Occasionally, which is actually how I took my one down, I'm going to show y'all real quick. Something that can happen as you're moving around up here. You can fall off, just pop an ether shroud, everything will be okay. Honestly, you can keep shooting them to keep the flow of the game going, but I mean, it does happen every once in a while. It's happened to me a few times. The first time it caught me off guard, and I don't even think I ran for it. I'm pretty sure my keyboard was bugging out because I think my left hand was off of the keyboard, and then I just sprinted forward and ran off the damn thing, and I tried to pop my ether shroud, but it just didn't work. But the other couple times I've been quick enough to pop my ether shroud, and as long as you hit that, nothing bad can happen. It's really a nice safety. I have seen some people running this strategy without ether shroud. They'll use what is it? Energy mine. They'll throw some energy mines down there to kind of help out clear the zombies faster. Oh shit, I forgot to cancel my reload. That's okay, it happens. What I can do, I got a few Casmirs on the ground, so if I really need to, say I was lower on ammo, bam, nice and easy. Can even hit the trap, pick up some loot. You get 10 full seconds in this. Did I not pick up either of those? Hold on, I'm done all. You get 10 full seconds with one of these Casimir devices, so don't be shy, just count it out in your head. Make sure if you're going to shoot the parasites, they're not flying around. One of the worst things is wasting ammo on the parasites. I know I've said that, but that's really the most annoying part of the strategy, is the parasites flying around trying to hit them and missing shots on them. I found one of the easiest ways to do it is just shoot a zombie near it and it'll chain to it. If there's a whole bunch of zombies around it, you may want to just pop a couple shots into the horde, and it'll chain them all out. It'll eventually hit that parasite. Going to use this opportunity of talking to an audience of people to let y'all know that it is time to go to the gym if you have not today. Don't forget the important things in life. Video games are super fun, but they're not going to do a whole lot for you if you end up in an unhealthy place, because that's all you do. You gotta have some side hobbies. As much as this brings me entertaining, and it's not like I can say a whole lot because I'm pretty sure I have 1,000 hours on this game. I'm sure I could have used that 1,000 hours doing more productive things in the world, but just make sure you always leave some room to do the important things of life. And go to school, put a little extra time in that work, try and get that promotion. Life is a grind. It don't stop at round 999. It keeps going until you tell it to stop. It's very easy to tell it to stop, so don't let that happen. Damn. Fuck it, I'm and grab this max ammo. I've calculated it for the high rounds. Every about 3-ish rounds, somewhere between 2 and 3 rounds of grinding out with the wunderwaffe here is for every about 1 round you can use a mutant injection. So typically I try and grind out about 30 rounds normally. Then if I start getting close to my salvage cap of 460,000, then I'll go use 100, 200,000 or so before grinding out some more rounds. At this point in the game, it does take about 7 mutant injections to get through a round, leaning on 8. Maybe 6 if you get some lucky Casimir and you're trying to switch up between every time you finish using a mutant injection you're throwing Casimirs and stuff too. That strategy does get a little annoying though, because when you are using the mutant injection, like I said, there's a lot of doppelgas that'll spawn in from not killing the bugs fast enough. So they can get kind of up and personal whenever you're throwing Casimirs, because they really don't give a fuck about the Casimirs. They don't run towards it. They will take damage to it if they run right through it, but typically they're not going to run directly through where you throw it unless you camp over the top of it. Yeah, about 7 mutant injections I would say per round, just averagely playing. With the salvage you pick up, it comes to you spend about 10,000 salvage per round. I've noticed it's been about the same since I hit around 450, and now it's 615, so it's been 6 to 7 mutant injections between those rounds. About 10,000 salvage spent. I always try when I go and do that, if I am going to spend all of my salvage, to try and save damn it. Try and save about 10, probably safer to have 15 to 20,000 salvage whenever you go back, just in case you get yourself in a situation in which you're having to, throw extra Casimirs that you can't necessarily, fill in your inventory, or you have to use a mutant injection or something like that. It's always good to have those things and to be able to purchase more at your will. As you see, we started at round 610, so we have completed 4 rounds and some change. We're 44 minutes in, still about 10 minutes a round. These things take forever. It's really easy to go into autopilot, and still stay perfect is a little difficult, especially if you're playing late at night to try and get those extra grind hours in and you're tired, or whatever the case may be. All these zombies can start blending into one. Don't even really pay attention to where they're coming from or what they're doing. You just get this habit of knowing where and when to shoot. If y'all would like to see me try and do any other Black Ops 6 high rounds, especially if there is a fun high round for the DLC 4 map, The Reckoning, I think that's what they're calling it. I know they're not going to call it Janus Towers, which is what people had initially thought that they would call it. But whatever that's going to be called, if there's a good high round for that, if y'all wanted to see that, leave a comment, just let me know what you want to see. More than happy to play whatever. I like challenges though. I'll say if I'm playing zombies, I want to feel challenged. This is probably the easiest high round. It's an endurance challenge for sure, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's too much of a skill challenge. It's more so learning the features of the map and this particular strategy. But once you've learned the features, and especially if you're already adept to the gameplay mechanics and all the augments and how the zombies act, and true Black Ops 6 zombies players won't have too much of an issue. Like I said, the cause of most games ending is either a crash, network failure, whatever the case may be, which I know that they have gotten better about when your game crashes, your save file will still be there. But I've just lost too many games to say that it's a truly solid mechanic. If your game crashes, most likely, it's not going to be there when you come back. Funny enough, this game actually crashed out in the early 200s, and I have no idea how the save file came back, but even when my game crashed in the middle of playing and I loaded up Black Ops 6, it said when I went to my save file, it said there is no save file available, play a game or whatever to be able to save one. I was like, what the hell? So I played other games for maybe a week or so, and for the shits and giggles, I went to go look at that save file again, and it just came back. It said that my Shatteredveil game was available to play on around 280 or whatever the hell it was. But I don't know, maybe that's something. If you ever lose a save game file, maybe just give it a couple days if you feel like it was something that wasn't necessarily your fault, and maybe it'll come back. Happened to me, so I mean, we definitely wouldn't be in this game right now if it did fully crash. I wouldn't have ran that back again, because this is my 4th attempt at this, and I don't think I've gotten over 200 without the game crashing, the other times. But it seems like if you can get past that certain threshold in there, whatever it is causing the issues to crash, it seems pretty stable in the high rounds. Hopefully I don't have to bite my tongue on that and explain why it ended up not being, but also, since I do have the ability to do face cams, if y'all think that that's something that's interesting, definitely let me know if you would like to see some actual videos with me talking into the face cam. I don't mind doing that. I don't think, unless I'm requested to, I will. I'll probably keep it to just gameplay, maybe some voice here and there. One of my favorite things to do definitely is going back and playing maps on World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2. I do really like Black Ops 3, but there's something about the nostalgia piece that rings to my childhood. So if y'all have a favorite map that you would want to see me play, I would love to run that up and either do a high round, or if it has an Easter egg, do an Easter egg on it. Maybe I'll learn a speed run, post some videos on me learning the speed run. Oh, I try not to throw the Molotov, but sometimes it slips. It's not a bad thing. I mean, it can only help you, but I like to have all 3 of my Molotovs ready. I like to be better safe than sorry. Just in case I do happen to throw out a couple of them or whatever by accident, just like that, I'll still at least have 1. I don't just chunk them willy-nilly. If you run out of Molotovs, then you can't do the reload trick and you'll end up running through ammo real fast. Don't let the keys fool you. I've seen them enough and accidentally thrown enough Casimirs to where I can tell when it's a key or a Casimir most of the time, but a lot of times the purple keys will fall and they look just like a Casimir, and they are annoying as hell. Just not near as often. You'll see a lot more of them when you're using mutant injections. I don't know what it is about the spawn rate, but they will occasionally come through whenever you're chunking the Casimirs and you're shooting the wunderwaffe, so just keep an eye out for those. I kind of wanted a break from shooting, so I'm just going to keep counting till 10, throwing these Casimirs, running up this trap right here, until I don't have any more Casimirs. Just grab some free loot, make it easy on me. Kind of venture out of my one spot, especially if you're playing a game that's going to be, you know, like this, 120 hours or whatever it takes to get to round 999. You don't want to sit in the same spot the whole time or you're going to drive yourself crazy. You got to kind of move around a little bit. Especially once you learn the safety techniques and the safety movements of the area, you're going to be fine. It is a little scary navigating in the earlier rounds after 55 through this area as you're trying to get, you know, fully set up, you know, get your perks, triple pack a punch if you're already sitting in this area with your wunderwaffe, say, you know, round 30 or something. I don't know. The more you practice, the easier this area and this map's going to become, though. I definitely say that. I'll go throw another one. I know it's going to make the round go by slightly slower, but I think we're getting kind of close to the end of the round. Walking on back. Just building that ammo back up. If you're running out of ammo a lot, it either tells you you're making bad shots, you're shooting too much, or you're just unlucky. I guess it could be any of those three things. Always trying to analyze my shot, come up with the exact perfect way I want to shoot these guys. Spent all these rounds trying to figure out exactly how to maximize the ammo. It's kind of like how they do it with CPR, singing "Staying Alive." Sing a slower tempo song. Just try and shoot every few seconds. Kind of keeps your ammo count to the right spot. And unlucky. It happens. Just walk them back. Throw another Casimir just cause. I was playing earlier, and I've maybe had it happen a couple times since I started playing this game, but typically the Casimirs just about always work. But last video, the hour and a half or so that I played, I had a couple situations where I threw a Casimir and it just did not work for me. So I'm not sure what was going on with that, because I've been throwing it in the exact same little area. I either throw it like right here, or typically I throw it right outside the room. Out there is where it seems to get kills the fastest. But that's a scary thing. It's always nice. I kind of have it built in my head because the game was really glitchy early on, where the Casimirs would have a really hard time working, and especially the monkey bombs. I took a couple very unfortunate downs when I was doing my tomb high round, due to that reason of equipment not working. But just make sure whenever you throw a Casimir, just try and give yourself an extra second before you drop down there to make sure that it's, you know, activated, or watch it as it's popping. So if for whatever reason it doesn't pop, you know, you throw it in a bad area, it glitches out, you'll have your little safety of being able to pop that ether shroud before things can get too serious. I believe my last bug round was on 613, if I'm not mistaken. I've noticed those bug rounds, special rounds, whatever you want to call them, blow up zombies, toxic zombies, they'll come every 5 to 6 rounds. I'm not sure exactly the number on that. Somewhere in there I've noticed. The elite zombies will come slightly more often than you'll see the bug rounds. And there we go. That's another end of the round. I'm gonna collect this loot here, go buy some more ammo. See a little Casimir on the ground. I may start the round off with that so I can hit that trap again. Hit that, and back to the spot. We are 1 hour in. Probably go about 15 total rounds in this game, so I may be streaming this, I would say about 2 total hours, and then of course I'll upload the video afterwards. But my goal has been to get about 10 to 15 rounds per day just because it's so taxing and I got work. But I did do around 600 to 610 this morning, but since it is a Sunday and I have a little bit of extra time to myself to be able to do these, might as well get myself an extra 15 or so this run so I can clear out 25 today. If anybody wondering, I work in IT for a school district. I'm not going to say where, but I do work for a school district and I fix up pretty much everything under the sun. If it's got wires and it's broken, I'm called to go fix it. I've been moving into doing a little bit more stuff, like learning some of the complex features of networking and, you know, how to set up classroom phone, network switches for the school and the backside and how it's managed. It's pretty fun stuff. If anybody was ever wondering about getting into technology careers and how that works, shoot me a personal message or however you want to do it. I got my degree in the IT field, went to college for that. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the most important thing for getting an IT job. You want experience as much as possible, so get yourself into a baseline IT job. And then certifications you would want to go for next. Of course, college is a good thing just because a lot of jobs out there require you to go to college, but I know that's not in everybody's cards. Honestly, if I hadn't already finished it, I may want to be one of those people that also didn't go to college, but luckily I had enough of the motivation to get through it whenever I was a bit younger. Some of the good certifications, any of the plus certifications, which are going to be your CompTIA, that's going to be A plus for them, Network Plus, Security Plus, all those are good. You can get your AWS certification through Microsoft. Google offers a lot of certifications. Some of them are a little bit more extensive. You know, if you were going to get into the field of cybersecurity, that may be a little harder. You may have to, you know, take a 6-month class and get through. But a lot of those certifications, if you either have a pretty good mind for it already, you can actually just buy a voucher to take the test or do a short training camp for it through the company. But a lot of the times you can just buy a voucher, take the test, you know, study for a week or so before, pull up the flashcards, Quizlet. A lot of the times we'll have flashcards asking similar, if not the same questions. You can learn, study up on that. It's not super hard to get certifications. You just have to apply yourself to get it. And if you got that and some work experiences, you could probably get yourself in a pretty good job. YouTube isn't something I'm ever really trying to make money off of. If it ever was something that, you know, blew up and was gonna make me money on the side, I would do it. But I couldn't see myself, you know, stop working somewhere and applying myself that way. I think everybody functions better whenever they have, you know, purposes such as that to push themselves to get up, work hard. You know, make the tough decisions in life. Also on the listening side, if there are any problems with my audio, if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, if my gameplay isn't loud enough, you know, mic, whatever the case may be, just let me know one way or another and I can kind of tweak it around, see what's going to be best for everybody. I am just doing this as a hobby I really enjoy playing zombies, and I think that I'm an above average zombies player, so people may want to learn or, you know, watch some entertaining stuff. I did have somebody say once that my keyboard is too loud and annoying in the videos. If that's the case, I'll find a way to I'll find a way to fix that too. I'm sorry if I'm annoying anybody with that. I've heard the clicking's too loud too. I'm not sure exactly how to fix that other than getting a quieter keyboard and mouse, or I don't know. As I was saying earlier, how it all just starts to blend into each other when you've done this for so long. Probably the past 5 or 10 minutes I wasn't even paying attention to the gameplay. I was just letting my instincts take over. It's so easy to get lost when you're sitting in a strategy like this for hours and hours and hours on end. And it's the end of the round. Look at that. 6:17. The goal today is going to be 6:25, so we're getting close. About 7 rounds, one, maybe, you know, we'll go 2 more bug rounds, probably about when it's going to start getting glitchy, but it'll probably be about 2 more bug rounds till 6:25. I always like to save and quit my games right after a bug round. Perfect, look at that. And I forgot to buy ammo, so let's do that real quick. Throw this on the ground since I saw one of those. Go and pick that up and back to our spot, just sitting right here. So yeah, we'll hit this bug round, probably one more bug round, which will be, I would guess, about 6:23, 6:24, somewhere in there. Hopefully it's around 624. Ooh, you can see the lag coming in. Yeah, so we got one more bug round before it's gonna start getting pretty crazy. We'll see here in a couple rounds where things will really start glitching up whenever you try and reload or throw a Casimir, but that's okay. I've played enough of it to where I can manage. I just hope that doesn't crash the game. Hopefully we'll get a bug around about 6:24 so I can pause the game right about 6:25 for next time's stream. This round started at about a minute, or at about an hour and 7 minutes. So probably be over about an hour and 9.5, an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to double check again just to verify that that's true. And I have checked, it doesn't have anything to do with the score chain. If you can see, I'm just at about 600,000 of a score chain. But earlier in the 300-400s, I would be getting almost 2 million score chains at one point, and it wasn't lagging at all. So I can't imagine that's the cause of my now problems. I have also tested it out to where I've had a bug around like this where I can tell it starts lagging just a little bit, and I have let the timer go down by holding the last zombie, or let the count go down, and then I have tried again and it has still continued to lag from there. But as soon as I save the quit and jump back in, next time I play, it's going to be nice and smooth for at least 7 or 8 rounds. Usually I get about 10 or so before it gets glitchy. Oh, got distracted there for a second.